Hey there, it's Benjamin again, and I am here to start a new video today, and I'm really excited about this. So, you know that you can make really functional things with crochet, you know, like hats and scarves, blankets, garments, and so on. But a lot of people don't realize that you can do other things with it. So there's a process called Amigurumi, and it's generally a knitted thing. So it's Japanese, and it's basically like a little soft toy or a soft little creature. So I have a couple here. So you can find these, or this one, at benjaminkrudwig.etsy.com. It's a little zombie bunny, so a zombunny. This is Amigurumi. And it's a little like, it's an art form to me. Not only is it a little fun, but you can also do lots of other things with it. So last semester, I crocheted a self-portrait of myself. So you can do lots of different things. So this is just not really useful, but it was fun to make. Its hair is messy just like mine right now. And it doesn't even have to be something real. So here's a little dragon that I made. I love my little Draco here. And you can also make things that are a little bit more true to life, like this little bird. So I'm going to teach you how to do things like this. It's not that hard, and it's just a lot of fun to get going. So I'm going to actually do a shout out real quick. So I have a book called Creepy Cute Crochet. That's how I started crocheting. Actually, I taught myself how to crochet because I wanted to make little creatures, and I saw that book and I really loved it. So it really turned me on to this whole crochet thing. So I'd like to say thank you to the author of that book, who I'm blanking on the name, but when I start the actual process, I'll go ahead and thank them again. But yeah, so I will hope that you guys follow along. This is probably going to be in 2 parts, just because there's a lot to talk about and a lot to show. So enjoy, and I can't wait to show all this to you guys. Alright, so let's get started. So first of all, here's the book that I was talking about. It's Creepy Cute Crochet, and it's by Kristen Hayden. And I think I'll be able to put a link down to her. I think she has an Etsy store, as well as a website. So I will definitely post her information down there. I love that book to death. I haven't made all of them, because once I started learning how to make my own amigurumi, I really just decided to stick with mine, especially since I like to be able to sell my work. I feel like it's kind of dishonest to make something from somebody else's pattern and sell it when it is so unique. So anyways, so what you're going to need is you're going to need yarn. I use worsted weight cotton. You already know that. And use a hook that is smaller than what you generally need for the gauge. So I'm using a D here. You're also going to need just certain things. You can use felt, but I'm going to use some plastic safety eyes. You need scissors. They're just good to have on hand because you're going to be using, or you're going to be cutting things a lot. And you're also going to need some fiber fill. So this is just some bamboo fiber fill. And we'll be putting that inside of whatever we're making. So I'm going to go ahead and just like make a normal bear. And I'm going to show you how to start your piece. So if you remember how to make a magic circle, it's in one of the first videos that I've done here. You just put the tail end of the yarn facing towards you, and then bring the yarn around your hand, like so. And then you're going to single crochet, or attempt to single crochet, 6 into this new loop that you just made. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, And then you're going to take the tail that you had and pull it. And that closes the hole right in the center there. That's why they call it the magic circle, because usually if you do like a 4-chain start for working in the round, you generally end up having like this kind of weird hole in your work. So you're going to slip stitch the first stitch to create your first row. And then chain 1, and you're going to increase in every stitch around, so that means single crocheting 2 in every stitch. Be mindful of the tail end of your yarn and try and work that into your piece as you go along. So again, I'm just increasing in every single stitch around, and so that'll leave me with 12 stitches. Almost there. And then slip stitch in that first stitch again, and you've done your first row. This is generally where I snip the tail end yarn. You only need to really lock it in the first row. I can't believe I ruined those scissors. Anywho, so I'm going to do another row. So this one, I'm just going to single crochet 1 in that first stitch, then increase in the next stitch. And then single crochet 1, increase in the next. You're going to repeat that around the circle 6 times, basically. For me, it's only 4 more times since I've done it twice. Increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, and another increase. Alright, so this next row is going to be the last row of increases for me. And what I'm going to do is single crochet 1 in the first, single crochet 1 in the next stitch, and then increase. And then repeat that 5 more times. So basically, you add 1 single crochet for every row, and then increase in the same spot usually. It'll create kind of like a hexagon pattern. So just did 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase. So what I love about Amigurumi is that you can really use your imagination with whatever you want to do. You can make little things out of you know, or off of characters in movies, or just pick a kind of animal or a imaginary animal, imaginary friend, and go with it. It's just you really have so many choices when it comes to that. I mean, you're limited only by your imagination, basically. I know that's cliche, but it's true. So now, this is basically the bottom of our little amigurumi. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do single crochet in the back loop only. That way it leaves this kind of as a flat base. So if you don't remember how to do it, you just stick your hook in the back loop of the V and single crochet. So the back loop, so you can see that there's 2 loops. I've already done a video on this as well, but I figure I can rehash it now. So this is the front loop and this is the back loop. Usually a single crochet goes through both of them, but for this case we're going to use only the back loop. It kind of gives us a little base to really start. So just single crochet around and around. This part gets a little tedious, I'm not gonna lie. But these little amigurumi figures work up much quicker than a hat or a scarf if you're doing small scale, and they make great gifts for friends and family. They make great toys for kids, especially if you don't use like those plastic safety eyes and you just embroider them on with more yarn. It makes a really safe gift for children, like little small children. Bigger children might need bigger stuffed animals that look more fun or more cool, whatever. So I'm at the end of my row here. Instead of slip stitching into this next stitch, I'm actually just going to go ahead and single crochet right into it. And what's going to happen now is that I'm not going to have a seam in the back because I'm just going to work in a spiral all the way up. This is great for amigurumi because you do get that ridge if you keep binding off, or not binding off, but slip stitching into the next row, or into the first stitch of the row, and then do your chain 1 to get up to the next row. You'll get that weird lumpy ridge, and that's not very attractive in amigurumi, so I recommend just working up in a spiral. And you might want to use a stitch marker to count your rows, but honestly I generally don't use a pattern anymore when I make amigurumi. So I just kind of go like, oh, that looks tall enough for this piece, so I'm going to just stop it here. So just keep going until you find a place of how high you want it. You can tell that I'm already in my 3rd row. It's kind of nuts how quickly this goes once you start really getting into the rhythm of it all. I'm going to make a really short bear. I think it would be kind of funny. So I'm going to stop here. You can see that I did 4 full rows of single crochets. So now at this point I will slip stitch into the next stitch. That way it kind of gives me a base to start decreasing. So if you remember, on the bottom I did 4 rows of single crochets and increases. So on this last row here I did 2 single crochets and then an increase. So to go down from that, I'm going to do 2 single crochets like so, and then a decrease. So you put 1 loop through, you yarn over, and you do it again in the next stitch, like so. So you'll have 3 stitches on your hook, and there will be 2 loops that are not like originally on your hook, and one is going to be in one stitch, and then the other loop is going to be in the other stitch. Yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3 loops on your hook, so you're left with 3 stitches. So you're going to do that again. So single crochet 1, single crochet 2, insert hook, yarn over, insert hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through all loops of the hook. So that's a decrease. Again, I've already done that one, but this is a really good project to kind of test your skills. So I'm going to go around until I reach my last slip stitch here. Sometimes if you go too fast on this part, you'll miss a stitch and then you'll screw yourself over for the rest of the project. But it's all good. It's all about learning. So here I am at the end again. Slip stitch to get in. Chain 1 to start your next row. This time you're going to single crochet 1 and then do a decrease over the next 2 stitches. Single crochet 1, decrease over the next 2 stitches. Single crochet 1, decrease, 1, decrease, 1, decrease, 1, decrease. And at this point, you're going to want to slip stitch. And then I like to chain, but then like open a very long chain. That way I don't pull out any stitches when I start filling this. So the body of this bear is going to be filled up now. So I have my fiber fill here. And you have this hole right here as well. And you just stuff it in there. And you can put a lot in, you can put a little in. It really depends on how plushy you want your little animal, or creature, whatever you're making. You can make people too. Just stuff it in as much as you can, or as much as you want. I'm going to stuff this one quite a bit, since I kind of want a chunky little bear. Okay, awesome. So you can see it's like made a little ball here. But now I'm going to finish it up so I decrease every 2 stitches. So decrease 1, decrease 2. And if you pull out some of the stuffing while you're doing this, don't worry too much about it. It's really easy to fix. And you don't honestly usually need that much stuffing anyway. So if a few strands come out, it really doesn't matter. So after I finish decreasing, we're going to be left with 6 stitches in the round. And I'll show you how to take care of that. So I'm in the last stitch here. I'm going to yarn over and just slip stitch. And then I'm going to cut my yarn about a foot of yarn and do a slip stitch, or a chain. And then, starting from back here, I'm going to go front loop only from the top and kind of weave my hook in and out of each of these stitches. This can be kind of difficult, but don't worry about it too much. And then you're going to yarn over with your yarn and attempt to pull through all of those little loops. There we go. Pull through and then pull tight. And then what I generally do is I yarn over and I just do a chain again. And then I leave this so I can sew on the head later on. So that's it for part 1. Tune in next week for part 2, where we're going to make the head and the arms and put the eyes on. So I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see you next week.